Noster and the Mission of Light is an independent low-budget film released in 2024. It's got a lot of attention last year around this time, but I'm a little bit late to this one. I found it streaming recently, and I watched it recently, and I've had this on my radar and my to-be-watched list for a while. This basically follows this girl named Max. She works at a record store, and she's a record collector. This film is stylized and filmed in a very 70s retro feel and look. And Max, basically, she collects records in general, but there's this like band from the 70s. This is a modern day film, like it takes place in 2024. It's just stylized to look 70s. But there's this 70s group that kind of disappeared completely, and they have 5 records out. One of them is like, there's an urban legend that it's cursed and stuff like that. So out of the 5 albums, this one, is so rare and so hard to find, and it's cursed and everything. This guy comes into the record shop and sells one of the records, not the cursed one, but one record that this girl is looking for. And then she kind of, like flirts with him a bit and kind of tries to get it out of him where he found this record, and he says he found him at a pawn shop. So she goes to this pawn shop, she gets all of them, and like all 5 that she was looking for forever, and she's able to get them for like $1, and it's ridiculous. And then so she has these very, very, very rare records that cost like thousands of dollars anywhere else. She calls a radio station. The radio guy says, like, be careful because the legend is real. If you listen to this record and everything, you can go crazy or die, whatever. She also meets this guy in a band because they go to a show, and this guy knows about the records, and essentially she gets a phone call from this Paternoster. They're a cult now, essentially, and the Paternoster is or was the singer of the band, I assume. And they're very cultish. So they dress in white robes, and they're very what's Charlie? Fuck, what is his name? I forget his name. I really don't want to have to edit this video. Crazy guy, Sharon Tate, that whole thing. They call her and they tell her to come to this retreat that they live on. She wants to bring her friends. There's this whole situation where, they compromise, and then she can bring her friends and whatnot, and they go. They're not supposed to record, but they end up recording, and a bunch of culty, weird, horrific, ritualistic stuff ends up happening, and, it turns into a cult film, essentially. Now, this film, like I said, is stylized phenomenally. The guy who directed it also produced it, wrote it, edited it. I don't know if he stars in it, but he colorized it. He did everything. He literally, at the end of the movie, he's credited for like 8 things. It's ridiculous. So this clearly was a passion project from him. And I really liked this film. I had a really good time with it. I love how it's stylized. There was this blurb that said it's like a throwback to cult cinema, and took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what kind of film this is. It's a throwback to cult cinema, and it feels like a cult film, even though it just came out, and it's destined to be a cult classic for sure. And it feels like one of those lost films of the 70s. It's grainy. The lead actress who plays Max, I think her name is Adara Starr, and she's one of the most beautiful actresses I've ever seen. And I looked her see if she was on any social media, and I think I found her Instagram, but she seems to have like 100 some followers, and I'm like, I can't imagine you being an actress and having under 1,000 followers. I don't see how that could be a thing, but I guess not every actor or actress wants a ton of people on their social media, maybe, but I figured that she would be a little bit more known and popular, even though this is an independent film. Going to conventions and going to festivals and all this stuff, you would think that you would get a lot more following, but I don't know. I haven't seen her in anything else. She hasn't really been in anything else other than, I think, one other short. And everybody in the film is good, though. A lot of people criticize this film with the acting and the hokey acting. I didn't have any problems with the acting at all. As a matter of fact, for what the film is and for how low of budget budgeted of a film it is, I thought the acting was pretty good. Like, usually with films like this, you get pretty terrible acting. And I thought everybody was fine. Adara Star was fine. Her friends were fine. The guy was okay. The Pater Noster people were okay. But nobody was terrible. Nobody was like, oh my God. Like, nobody was ridiculous. I wasn't laughing at any performance. Everybody did and sold their performance and what kind of character they were. So no problems there whatsoever. And like I said, you definitely have to be into this kind of filmmaking and this kind of style. It gets really gory. Like, there's blood splatter and there's like really gross out horrific scenes, one involving a birth. And you know, there's they try to make you sick with the gore, and so it works well. But yeah, I don't want to get too much more into detail when it comes to the plot or the ending or anything like that. But you know, the soundtrack is fantastic. Obviously, you're dealing with a movie about records and music, so you're gonna get a lot of cool music. I don't like the songs that the cult sings, because they sing this one song and it gets on my nerves. But it's Charles Manson. That's what I was thinking about. How do I forget that? Like, he's such a fucking famous name, and for the wrong reasons, but still, like, I can't believe I forgot his freaking name. Yeah, it's a cool film. Pater Noster is definitely worth watching. I give it a strong recommend. But know who you are getting into it. Know, you know, the kind of audience you are, because it's not for everybody. And anybody who's saying that this film is like way too low budget, the acting is horrible, yada yada, they're probably not a fan of this kind of cinema. So for a low budget film, this is like top tier low budget cinema is what I have to say about it. So Pater Noster and the Mission of Light is a cool flick and definitely a throwback to cult cinema, and it's a good time, in my opinion. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you'd like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I will be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.